Today, what I'm going to continue to go over is some virtual scaffolds for Ls. You might have seen, if you've seen the first one I did, it was talking about videos and introducing some scaffolds. We're going to just kind of extend that. This one's going to focus more on how to use maybe a slideshow or a PowerPoint, but incorporate that into our Google Forms. So it's a little easier. Instead of having students bounce between a slideshow and a document, including everything here on one slideshow. So one of the first tips I would give for Ls to make things easier to follow is to break things into sections. So let's see, I'm going to break this up. We'll say this is a language arts class or a social studies class or whatever. I'm going to say this is a vocabulary section maybe we're working on. Or perhaps it's whatever it might be. I'm doing vocabulary, but I'm going to break this up here to show. Now, what I'm going to want to do is go back here to my slideshow. And there's a couple ways I could do this. I could right click here. I have my slides all set up that I would use in class to go over things. But the kids might have trouble with this, so I want to make sure they can know exactly what I want them to see. So I could go here and right click on the slide. Or I could download this slide, but I'm just going to do it a little more easy so I can get exactly what I want. I'm going to press Shift, Window key, and S, and I'm going to make a copy of this slide. I'm going to drag around here for this slide, and I'm just going to save this by clicking on the window there, and I go into my clipboard. I'm going to click Save. So let's say they're learning the word screwdriver. So here's what I have. I have a example sentence for them to see. And as I said in the last video, I like to just use the same one again and again and just save it. But if you want to keep a folder to make it easier, I just like to do it step by step because then I don't get confused at where I'm at. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this as an image. And it might take a second to go through all this, but I'm going to go to Browse and Upload. And I have my first slide now. So basically I have a slide just like I would in the slideshow, but instead of being on the slideshow, it's here. And then when they go in and they look at it, they can also actually, they can kind of see what I want them to see. So let me go back here. I have this extended all the way where I want it. I'm not even going to put a title on this. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Then I'm going to add another one here in 1 second. I'm going to go back to my next slide, and I have a picture of it, so I'm going to put that in there. Again, Shift, Window key, and S to snip. I'm going to grab this. This is the next picture in my slide. And I'm going to click here and save it. Again, it's a kind of a tedious process, but if you already have slides built up, you can just kind of copy and paste and do everything you need to do. The only difficulty is you need to save them as a file first. So now I have that saved. Now I should be able to go back here and upload the next image. Again, the biggest length of time is going to be just waiting for the computer to go to upload it. That's about it. So I'm going to click in here. Now I have my next picture up. Now let's say the next one I want is my question. So I'm going to add a question now. And this is going to be them filling in the blank. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to press Shift, Window, and S. And this one actually has the question on it. So now they have to answer using the sentence frame, perhaps. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to upload this as an image. Oops, let me go back and save it first. If I lost it, I can always click down in the right-hand corner and then click there. Now I can save. I'm just going to save this real quick as the same one. I'm using the same file because it makes it easier to find. I don't have to dig around looking for things. Just if you miss it, you have to go back and snip it again, but that's okay. Okay, wait 1 moment for it to come up. Now, if you have like 60 or 70 slides, you might say, well, this is a lot of stuff to do for 60 or 70 slides. My answer to that would be maybe reduce the number of slides that you have. That might make it a little bit easier for the Ls as well. But here I have, so they have a couple slides that they can work through, and now they would go in and say, okay, I use the screwdriver when, I would say, right an example sentence, or write a sentence below with your answer. And this one I might even just put on here. I might even make this one uh, a required response so they can't advance without actually answering that. I'd also make it a paragraph, just because that's what it leaves more space. If they want to write a little bit more, they can, whereas the short answer, it might limit them. So this is just one basic way to adjust what you're already doing for your slideshows, but instead of bouncing between these, slideshow and a document, the students can have everything accessible right here and kind of look over things. And we can see when they look at it, this is kind of what they're going to be seeing. They'll see the slides, and now they'll see, okay, well, this is where I answer a question. This is where I do this or that. So it kind of, you can order things and put things together. Couple tips again, make sure you break things into sections, and then add images, either through the images or add them on the questions themselves, and use that required response tool in this situation so they know they need to answer something.